Okay, I'm back, and I thought what I'd like to do now is just to deepen the color in this area and this area a little bit, and just kind of pop this flower a little bit more, and then maybe I'll work in the background also and just kind of get that area kind of a little more powerful. I want the whole painting to have a softish feeling, so don't want to go into super dark darks like are in the my photo reference, but I would like to just punch it up just a little bit. I'm gonna come in, here's my permanent rose again, and clean water on my brush, and I'm going to soften, and that's just deepened the color excuse me, in that area, and it separated, pulled these two flowers apart. I'm going to do the same thing down in here, and I'll take my permanent rose. I'm working on dry paper right now. Leave a little bit of reflected light, just a touch of light back in there. And roll over this edge, back in here. Here. Just to set that back a little bit. And I'm going to drop a little of my yellow in, more permanent rose, and that's just going to warm up this area. So rather than a pinky red, I'm adding a little bit more warmth, and I think I'll do that same thing here. A little bit of yellow and then a little more rose punched in there. And I also think right down in here it would be nice to have a little bit of blue. So that's permanent rose, and I'm going to drop some of my blue right down in there. Bring it here, touch it in there. Okay, I like that. Do the same thing down here. I'll start with the permanent rose, kind of moving tight up against the area where the light is hitting the top of the petal, and then bringing my color down. Down in here, and this very dark area that'll be not quite so pink. I'm gonna change that color up down there a little bit, and then just a little clear water there, and also a little clear water over here to kind of let that edge soften and some of that rose move into this area. Just a little bit. And then I'm going to come in again with my yellow. Pop in a little bit of yellow right in here. And then I think a little blue would be nice. So you'll notice I'm using predominantly rose because I want my flower to look pink, but then I am adding little touches of yellow and blue to send back parts of the flower and to back in space, that is, and darken some areas. Let's move up in here. A little bit of rose again. right up in here, right there. My brush is clean and not very wet, and I'm going to come here, 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 just with clear water, and touch up to soften that edge. That's nice. I like that. I'm going to put some yellow in there, but I think instead I'm going to put some blue, just a bit of blue, and let it float out. Let's come in here, right up in here, kind of give some little accents. Right down into the center. A little bit accent here. And one more area right back here. And I'm just using my photo reference to kind of guide me on where to add pigment. Also, I love this because now part of my flower is light against dark, and part of my flower is dark against light in the background. And that's so nice. It adds dimension to the painting. And then let's go back in here, up in here in this right hand corner, and I'm going to bring my blue in, over my background. Nicely deepened, but it's blue. So if we want that to look more black, what we can do is push in some red and some yellow, and that will start to neutralize some of that background. And then I'm going to come back in with my little Robert Simmons White Sable, the worn down brush, and I will just lift out a couple little highlights back there in the background and soften a couple spots. Let's soften right up in here. And how about we lift out a little pigment right there. And maybe make like a little branch or leaf or something going on there. Like this, that nice warm brown color that's created by the layers of color and the mingling of color. I think that's going to be real nice. So let's see here. Let's go back in here, and I'm going to darken and deepen the color in the shadow back here. I'm going to start with the rose. I want to pop these petals out and send this back a little bit. So I want to darken it and dull it. So by adding all three colors, we can dull that color down and we can darken the area. Let's darken that up too. So that's the permanent rose, the Windsor blue, and now I'm going to drop in a little bit of yellow and let those colors just mingle together. A little more rose down in here. Let those colors mingle together. And I also think it would be nice, now looking at this, if I dampen this petal right here, right there, and I'm going to bring that right up in here, and I'm going to let some of this pigment float into that petal. I think I'll have to add a little more pigment to that too. Just set it back a little bit more. And so this area and this area become a little less clear. It's sort of going, the petals going from light to shadow, from definition to softness. And I'm going to come in here and soften this area here. Now, you may have noticed that, whoops, I have a Kleenex box back there. I use my Kleenex for controlling the amount of water on my brush. Anyway, you may have noticed that I went over the edge here in a couple of spots, and I don't want to do that. So while the paint is still just slightly damp, I'm just going to come in there, dampen that edge, and then I'm going to take my Kleenex and just touch, touch, touch. I want to scrub, but just touch into that and make that a little softer. Here, let's see. Do a little bit more there. There. Better, better. It doesn't have to be perfect, but sometimes it's nice to just have those edges. What have I got going on here? Huh. There's a little bit of some kind of pigment or something settling in there. I'll just let it dry, but I like that lift because that brings some violet back up. Okay, I'll be back to you. Hope you're enjoying watching some of my techniques and just seeing how I do my layering. Thanks for watching.